Alright, hey guys, so today I want to talk to you guys about how to set up a gathered end hammock. There's a lot of confusion I think on YouTube with some people that are kind of experimenting with hammocks. I just saw one guy's video, I forget who it was, they said they tried to set up a hammock, it took them an hour and a half. Should not be the case. So I'm going to show you how I set up a hammock. The first step is the tree strap. We have just 1-inch webbing here. Polyester webbing, it's important. Nylon will stretch on you and you'll end up on the ground. So polyester webbing, 1 inch. I made these myself, and I just sewed loops into each end. And so all I have to do is come here, go around the tree, and then we'll feed it back through itself, just like that. And the tree strap's on. Now all we have to do is put something in here to connect our actual hammock suspension to. My preferred method is to use a Marlin spike hitch and a climbing rated carabiner. So let's take a look at that. The Marlin spike hitch is done simply. I like to just grab the webbing, flip it, so there's a loop, reach through the loop, and grab it back on itself. And I clip in, and then there you go. My anchor point for the hammock is now set. There is something called a toggle that people use with Marlin spike hitch, and I'll show you that on the other side. Okay, so we'll take the tree strap again. We're going to repeat that same process of wrapping around the tree and back through the loop on itself. Okay, so now here's where we're going to do the Marlin spike hitch again. So we'll grab, make a loop, and pull back on itself. Now, instead of a climbing rated carabiner like I used over there, what I'm going to use is a simple stick toggle. There's aluminum toggles, carbon fiber toggles, all kinds of toggles. Pretty much anything that's shaped like this you can use. I just like to use a stick if I'm going to use a toggle. And just bring it back in on itself, just like that. We'll just make sure it's nice and snug and tight. Now, the weight of the hammock isn't actually going to rest on the toggle, on the stick, because then it would just snap. The weight's actually going to be above the toggle on the webbing itself. The toggle just holds the knot in place, holds the Marlin spike hitch in place. Okay? So, let's grab the hammock and I'll show you how to put this together. Okay, so I now have my hammock right here in the stuff sack, and I just have one end of the suspension sticking out. I use a Whoopie Sling for the suspension, which is kind of what this video is for. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the Whoopie Sling, the big end of the loop of the Whoopie Sling, over the knot, and we're just going to really kind of pull that down to kind of lock it in place on the knot. Not on the stick, on the knot. If that slips off and comes onto the stick, the stick's going to break and you're going to fall. So you need to make sure that's kind of locked in place. Okay, so that one's set. Why don't we get you guys a little closer and I'll do that again so you guys can see. Alright, so let's take a look. So we got the Whoopie Sling here. I'm going to put that over the stick, over the toggle, and onto the knot right here. And I'm just going to pull that in place. Okay? That's going to secure the Whoopie Sling onto the tree strap. Okay, so I've got the Marlin spike hitch with the carabiner toggle over here on the other side. And now all I need to do, simple, open the gate, put the Whoopie Sling in, and it's set. Alright, so you can see that we've got the hammock put together, it's up, and it's hanging just fine. The problem is that it's too low right now. If I sat in this, I'm going to go way too close to the ground. I'm not going to be able to put my insulation on there at all. So what I want to do now is adjust the Whoopie Slings on either side to raise this up. And what I want to do, what I'm looking for, is to get the suspension at about a 30-degree angle, the hammock itself about chair height, so my feet I can sit down and my feet will just touch the ground nicely. And for me personally, I like the foot end on a gathered end hammock to be a little bit higher than my head end. This is my head end, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust this accordingly. Okay? Alright, so when you're adjusting a Whoopie Sling, you've got this section here like this that's kind of like a Chinese finger trap. The line runs back through on itself, and as you put pressure pulling, it locks the adjustable part in place. So what we need to do is push that adjustable part together like you would a Chinese finger trap, push it together, and then we can pull it through, adjusting it. And just like you see me doing, we can reverse that process by pushing on the top and then pulling that through as well. So I'm going to do that on both sides now, get this hammock adjusted. Alright, so you can see I've got my suspension now adjusted appropriately. My foot end's a little bit higher. When I sit down, my feet are just touching the ground nicely. So this should be a really nice hang for me. I'm going to go ahead and get my underquilts, and we'll show you how to hook those up. Okay, so I have them in a dry bag. I always do that just to keep them nice and safe. This is my winter set. It's a top quilt and underquilt rated to just below 0. So let's pull these out. I like to, just a tip, I like to pack my underquilt on top so it's the first thing I pull out and I can attach first. This is a Hammock Gear 0 degree incubator with 2 ounces of overstuff. So it is a little old now and getting a little dirty. It needs to be washed. I'm going to do that before this season. But let's go ahead and hang it up. Okay, so on Hammock Gear quilts, there is a head end and a foot end because they have a little butt shelf. I guess leg shelf you call it. And so I like to color coat the Carabiners I use, the green one being the head end. So all I need to do, clip it on just like that. Couldn't be any easier. I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the other end. Alright, so you can see on this end, I've got a little section where I tied off the shock cord that comes with it, and that's just to tighten up the suspension of the underquilt so it pulls up underneath your butt real nice. Alright, so we have the underquilt here. You can see it slides freely on the suspension so you can move it. So I'm just going to get it about centered, and then I'm just going to pull it under and get my hammock inside there. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, this part doesn't take any skill at all, but we're just going to take out our top quilt, and I'm just going to find the foot end, which is this, and put that in the foot side and get it laid out. With the down stuff, it's nice to lay it out when you first get to camp so it has time to fluff up and really loft before you get in for the night, just so you get your maximum amount of warmth. Alright, so now I've got the underquilts on, my hammock is hung. You can really see that getting a hammock set up properly and so it's going to be extremely comfortable is not a long process. It's not a difficult process. As a matter of fact, it's very easy and very quick. So now, all that's left to do, kick off my shoes, lay down and enjoy what I've done.